this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the Boho Gemstone Memory Wire Bracelet Kits by Beadaholique. Now these are exclusive Beadaholique jewelry kits, and what that means is that you'll get all of the supplies to make your kit in whichever color style you choose. So for this particular kit, we've done 6 different varieties up here. So we've chosen 3 different gemstone chips. So we have an amethyst, we have a turquoise, and we have a rose quartz. Now you can see that we've created a gold and a silver version for each, and each one comes with its own unique charm, as you see here. So for this kit, you're going to get your memory wire, you're going to get your charm as well as a jump ring to attach it, you'll get your gemstone chip beads, you'll get noodle beads, you'll also have a metal bead component, and a wood bead. Now the only thing that you'll need to provide yourself is a pair of chain nose pliers and a pair of round nose pliers, just to help you out with some of those loops that we're going to be making here in just a moment. And the other thing that can help you with this is we're going to be using a little bit of blue painter's tape, but this is optional and I'll show you that in just a moment. So if you have all of your supplies ready to go, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our memory wire here. Now this comes pre-cut for you, so we don't recommend trying to cut it with any flush cutters. So all you're going to do is just find one end here, and let me just kind of uncoil mine. There we go. So you'll see that you have 6 loops to work with. So at one end, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little piece of our tape and just fold it over the edge there. And what this is going to allow us to do is just kind of provide a little bead stopper to one end so that if we want to go back and change our design, we'll be able to do that. Now the great thing is that memory wire doesn't really have a size to it. It'll expand and contract, so one size fits all. All right, so now that we have our little blue tape here, what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to load up our beads. Now, if you didn't want to use the tape here, you could automatically jump to the end and go ahead and make your simple wire loop. I'm going to show you how to do that once we get to the end, but you could also do that here as well if you didn't want to change your design. Now, the reason we offer this is because every gemstone chip has its own natural little shape to it. So while we do give you enough of the gemstone chips to create the design, sometimes a chip might be a little bit off, so you might have extra beads or less than beads. So what happens then is you can go back and change the design because you'll have plenty of wood beads, noodle beads, and metal beads to kind of help fill out your design. Also, the pattern I'm going to give you here is just a suggested pattern. Feel free to mix and match and do whatever you like. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to start by doing 3 sort of wood beads and metal beads. So every time I put a wood bead on, I'm going to put a metal bead on. So I'm going to do a set of 3 here. And I'm actually going to do only 2 metal beads and 3 wood beads, because then I want to add 1 noodle bead. Now these are curved metal beads that you just kind of slide on to the memory wire, and they should go right with the curve there. All right, so far I have a wood bead, a metal bead, a wood bead, a metal bead, a wood bead, and a noodle bead right there. All right, so now I'm gonna do 5 of the wood beads here. So a wood bead, a metal bead, a wood bead, a metal bead, a wood bead, a metal bead, and another wood bead, 1 more metal, and then another wood bead. So I sort of have my 5 wood beads there. So I'm going to slide that all the way down. And now I'm going to pick up 1 more noodle bead. And this really helps to add a nice little metallic to the beginning. Now I'm going to kind of slide them down and kind of kick them around my little coil there. You don't have to scooch them down too much, they'll kind of naturally get down there, but just if you want to sort of adjust to get them away from your little tip here, that is a good little thing to do. All right, so now we're going to add 1 single wood bead, and we're going to add another noodle bead here. So just going to slide that down. All right, so now again, I'm going to add 5 of our wood bead section, and a metal bead. Go. Wood bead, metal bead, wood bead, see I have 3 so far. So this is my 4th wood bead, 1 more metal bead, and 1 more wood bead. And now we're ready to start adding some of our gemstones. So for this one, let me just kind of move that down a little bit. There we go. So for this one, I'm going to add what is approximately about 2 inches worth of our gemstone chips along the length here, which, you can just kind of eyeball. And again, that's sort of why we give you the opportunity to adjust that tape there on the end. So I'm just kind of fitting that. So it's about 1/3 of the way around, because you can just see how different all these little chips are, which is just really lovely. It gives it a really nice sort of organic little feel. So I'm just going to string on some turquoise gemstones that are going to, like I said, go about 1/3 of the way around my memory wire. So we're just going to sort of eyeball about 2 inches worth of gemstones here. And I'm sort of picking them up in my hand. Sometimes it's hard to find where the hole is because they're so uniquely shaped. But what's really nice is you can just keep on adding, and you can see even in here there's just different varieties. So if I wanted something that had a little bit more of that texture to it, I can slip that in there, or if I then want to try to add a smaller one there, lots of different options. All right, so probably just a few more here. And I think that should do it. So yeah, I'm actually going to take one of those off. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of work and slide that down to the bottom. So what I'm doing is just kind of trying to coil it around and just move it a little bit. There we go. Just to keep an eye on it. All right, so now that I've added approximately 2 inches of my first length of turquoise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 more of those wood beads with the little metal beads. And you can even see that the wood beads have a little bit of variety to them as well. So keep that in mind as you are making up your pattern that you want to use. All right, so that's 2. That is 3. And a metal bead. 1 more wood bead, 1 more metal bead, and a final wood bead. There we go. And again, we're going to add some more turquoise now. So again, we're going to do another sort of 2 inches of our turquoise. And one of the things I love about memory wire is that it really is one size fits all. So you can get a really great design. These make wonderful gifts because you don't have to worry about the sizing for your recipient. All right. Definitely a few more here. And you can see that I'm sort of alternating some of the larger ones with some of the smaller ones. Just helps give it, again, just that really nice organic little feel. All right, let's slide that down, see how we're doing. I'd say 1 or 2 more can't hurt. All right. So now we're going to add 1 noodle bead. And the noodle beads are great to use in this design because they actually allow a little bit of space to sort of happen because you have a lot going on here. So that's just a really nice little thing. All right, so we're going to kind of scooch everybody down. There we go. All right, so we just added another gemstone, and then we added 1 more of our noodle beads. So we're going to do another 5 wood beads here. Of course, with our metal beads in between. I always like to use metal in conjunction with gemstones. It gives it a really nice sort of bohemian feel. And that's the look we're going for here today. All right, so that's 3 wood beads. And here's my 4th. 1 more metal bead and 1 more of our wood beads. There we go. All right. So, and again, if you come to a point where you want to add 3 wood beads or just 1 or 2, go for it. You can do whatever you want with these. It's really, really fun. All right, so we're going to keep sliding that down. So we have another part of the turquoise here. So another section of our gemstones. Sometimes you'll find it a little hard to find the holes on some of these gemstones, and it's just because we wanted to get that really natural feel by using the chips. So with that, sometimes you have to kind of fish around and find exactly where the hole is. There we go. All right, now I got to start working it down a little bit. Sometimes it can get caught up, so just keep, you'll see it's getting a little bit caught because of the natural state of those gemstones. So they kind of want to stick together. So we're just going to kind of take our fingers and just move it down. Move it all on down because we got a lot to load on here. All right, so I'm going to add some more gemstones here. All right. So that should do it for that section of gemstones. So that was our third section of our turquoise there. So now we're going to do 5 more wood beads. Last metal bead and wood bead. There we go. I'm going to slide that all the way down now. And we're ready to add another section of our turquoise beads. I'm going to take a moment here to just slide everything down and try to get it as close to the bottom there as I can. There we go. Now everybody's just sliding on down there. And this will also give you a chance to really see how it's developing, see if you like the pattern, because you can always change it up. You know, if you're following me so far, you can always change it up from here. Say you want some more wood beads in there, more of that section. Just go ahead and do whatever feels right. All right, so we're getting closer there. You can see it start to develop. So now if you look sort of at the bottom of what we have, so we've done 3 little sections of our turquoise gemstones. We have some lovely spaced out noodle beads in there, and the wood beads, it's coming together really nicely. So you can just see the reason we do the pattern this way is to just kind of have those noodle beads give a little bit of space. So because we have the gemstone chips, and we really want to show those off. All right, so 1, 2, 3. So if it's easy for me to count the sections of gemstones here. So I did a few less gemstones here than I had wanted to, so I'll make that up in a little bit here. So I'll add a little more gemstone later. That's why I kind of like this kit. We give you all the supplies and you can really make it your own. All right. So I just added 5 more of my wood beads there. So we're ready for another turquoise section. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. So we're going to maybe go almost halfway around with this one, just to kind of make up for the fact that I maybe didn't add as many before. So, but again, just have fun and make it your own. This is a beautiful thing about the kits. We give you guys a new technique to try. And if you're interested, you know, and if you really like this, we do offer the other kits as well. So if you want, you know, maybe a different color, it's a totally different design, which is really, really fun. All right, so I'm going to use the larger beads here to give me a little bit more width. There we go. I'm going to slide that down. And so this is one of those ones where you got to really search for that hole. There we go. And this could also work with round gemstone beads as well. So if you're watching this and want to do this technique, you can choose various different beads. A lot of things work with memory wire. It's a really fun thing and a fun technique to learn. So I'm just going to slide some more down there, just so I can check how long that width is. All right, so yeah, I'm liking that one a lot more. So it goes almost halfway around. So I'm happy with that one. All right, so now we're going to add a noodle bead. Slide that all the way around. And we have 5 more wood beads. Three, 4, and 1 more. So 1 more metal bead and 1 more wood bead. Slide that down. And we're going to do another section of our turquoise. And again, just pay attention to the shape and, you know, see how they're all laying together. And as they kind of twist, you'll be able to kind of squeeze more on there, just as they want to find a way to fit together. I love how different all of these chips are. You can just see that some of the coloring is just really different. It's quite lovely. So we're going to squeeze that down there. All right, so now we're going to add another noodle bead. That all the way around there. There we go. And another section of turquoise. And I believe this will be our final section of turquoise here. So I'm just sort of, you can see that I'm getting a little pickier with the ones I want to use. They're all really good. I'm just trying to look for some interesting shapes that I might want to get in my design, something that I maybe haven't used before. You can see that some of these are a little tinier, so they make for some really great little color there. All right. And if there's any last little cool ones that I definitely want to get in here, this is a good opportunity for that. All right, so now we're going to slide that down. And here's another opportunity to just kind of get it all down there towards the bottom. All right, so now we're going to do another noodle bead. And we're going to do 5 more of our wood beads here. Of course, with our metal beads one more time. I like the little beads that happen on these little metal beads. Again, it just gives that nice little interest to our design. All right, so that's 4. We'll do 1 more. There we go. Slide that down. All right, so you can see that we're getting towards the end here, so start thinking about how you want to end it. Now we do have some leftover gemstone chips, so you can start to add that here, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do another noodle bead. I'm going to slide that down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take a little piece of tape here and cover the front, or I'm sorry, technically the back half here. This is where we've been stringing. And what I want to do is I want to move to the front here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove my tape. And I know that I'm going to be happy with my design now, so I'm going to get the blue tape off my finger. And what I want to do now is I want to take my round nose pliers, and you're going to want about a ½ inch or so, and you're just going to take it in your round nose pliers and just bend it in to create a nice little simple wire loop facing in towards the center of that gemstone memory wire. So now I have my loop here at the front. So now what I can do is I can flip my work back over here to where we were stringing, and now is a good opportunity to kind of really move all those beads down, and you can see that I'm already getting a little bit more space here at the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end. I'll try to keep my verbiage the same. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to kind of actually grab that with my pliers here, so I can just kind of really move them all down here, and you can see that little spaces are kind of popping up. So I want to make sure that everything is going to be nice and snug down there at the bottom. So just kind of moving around the gemstones, just making sure that they're all going to sit and everybody's going to be happy down there. So we're just kind of moving that all together because we want it to feel stiff, not too loose. So that's what this step is for. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. I'm really liking the way everything is laying here. There we go. And actually, I'm getting a lot of noodle beads right there all together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to adjust my pattern here. Now this is where you can kind of have just a little bit more fun with it and make it your own. So I'm going to take that last noodle bead off there. And because I have some extra gemstones, I'm going to add some extra gemstones here to the end. Now I'm not going to add a whole bunch, but just a little section to kind of help me bridge that gap there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that noodle bead back. And now I've sort of bridged over just so that my noodle bead won't be totally there, so I have some more gemstones happening, which is just a fun way to kind of do it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a wood bead, a metal bead, a wood bead, a metal bead, and another wood bead. And I think I can probably get 4 wood beads on the end here. That'll be perfect. All right, so I'm going to end it with 4 wood beads for my design here. So again, we have that about 1/2 inch there. And I'm going to take it in my pliers, and I'm going to bend that in, and we're going to finish it off with a nice little loop there on the end, just the same as we did on the other side. So that's the ending to our design there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it back over to the place we started. So I have my little loop there. And the last little thing I want to do is I want to add my charm. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers here, and I'm going to pick up my jump ring, grab it with my round nose pliers, give it a little gentle twist, and then I'm going to slip my charm on, and then slip it onto the little loop there, come in with my round nose pliers one more time, close that little jump ring up, make sure he's closed nice and tight, and we are all finished. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. You can actually see that we have a lot of metal beads, our noodle beads, and wood beads left over. So you will be able to create a fun, unique pattern using the techniques that you've seen in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get all of these supplies and see even more exclusive Beadaholique jewelry kits by heading over to beadaholique.com. And hey, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to get all the latest from Beadaholique.